Hi there. Let's have a look at Rainn Wilson in the semi-final now. So his opponent here is BenjyFishy. Rainn Wilson is playing white. BenjyFishy, or Benji David Fish, better known as BenjyFishy, is one of the top professional Fortnite players in the world. His Twitch channel has over 3 million followers and his YouTube over 1.5 million subscribers. So let's have a look. E4 from Rainn Wilson. E6 from BenlyFishy, a French defense. D4, D5. E5, the advanced variation. C5, C3. Queen B6. This is a very logical play from both sides. Looks like standard stuff. Knight H6. That's a good idea, offering double pawns. But B2 would be weakened as well, giving back black the bishop. Dark square bishop without counterpart would be a dangerous thing to do, just for structural damage. So overall, it's wise not to accept that. Bishop D3 is played. Bishop D7. Bishop C2, C takes, knight F5. And here, we see bishop takes F5. That relieves the pressure on D4. White castles, bishop E7. We see B4. Black castles, knight C3. And it's pretty uncomfortable D5, but it can be protected here with bishop E6. Unfortunately, black played F6. Yeah, this is a critical mistake. Bishop E6, H4, engines think this is fine. But with this, F6, it drops D5 pretty non-controversially. It's easy to just take that without any backfire. Queen D8, we see rook E1, bishop E6, but now, unfortunately, knight F4 hitting the bishop. And this turns into quickly a disaster, really. This is technically completely lost now after F takes. If bishop D5 had been played, that would be more stubborn. White does have an advantage. It's not so severe. But after F takes E5, we have knight takes E6. Not only winning a bishop, but an exchange. And yeah, it's pretty much a very lost position here for black. A rook down. So we see knight takes, rook takes, bishop F6. Check. And now rook D5. This neatly protects D4 with tempo. Queen E8. Okay, there's a threat of the back row mate. That's parried with the natural developing move, controlling E1. Queen F7. Okay, there's a pin. There's an unpinning move. Queen F3. Very sensible. Rook C8. And now this pawn on F5 is taken. Rook E8. Queen D7. Rook E7. Queen goes back. Queen E8. And now, yeah, rook E1 could be a threat. And actually that's parried with bishop C3, controlling the E1 square. So white's got it under control. A move like G3 would usually be in order here. I say G3, that would be my preference, because then the bishop is not controlling escape squares, potentially. If you play a move like H3, sometimes the bishop's controlling H2, but a move like G3 would give air for the king as well, without giving any dark square control to the bishop. So we see Queen F7, though. Rook E1, extinguishing this back row mate idea by taking off the rook. Queen takes. Check. And now actually a very good move, pinning the queen, rook D7. It's all over, bar the shouting. So yeah, a crushing win here. There was a horrendous blunder by black. And yeah, it looks as though that was pretty straightforward win from Rainn Wilson there in this semi-final game. So what would happen in game 2? Could BenjyFishy exact a revenge to push to a tiebreak? Okay, let's see what happened in game 2. Okay, BenjyFishy playing white against Rainn Wilson. Knight F3. We see D5, D4, knight F6, C4, C6. So a very professional opening here. Slav, this is very popular with grandmasters and super grandmasters, the Slav. We see H3 here, bishop takes F3, queen takes, G6, bishop E2, bishop G7. So again, it seems as though this is very, very good play from both sides here. Bishop D3, we see knight D7, B3, and now black plays E5. Usually it's recommendable to take on C4 first, actually, before playing for E5. This resolves any D5 pressure if taking Usually this is the way it's done, generally speaking, in principle. Okay, so here we have e5 though being played, c takes, and yeah, the snag is shown up immediately. You know, d5 is weak here. We have queen e7 losing a pawn, d takes, and in fact after e4 this has escalated quite significantly after bishop takes e4. Losing several pawns now. B takes, we have bishop takes c6, so white is actually doing really well here after that. So yeah, safety points. D takes before e5 is a good safety point, I think. We have rook c8, knight e2, knight b6, a4, queen e6, the bishop retracts to b5, a safe square. Queen takes b3, okay, nabbing a pawn back, rook a3, queen e6, rook c3, rook cd8. Well, it's still got quite a bit of control here of the position, that's c file in particular. And now pushing the knight to d5, okay, bishop c4, pinning, we have unpinning. Now bishop takes, knight takes. Bishop a3, which is interesting. Black could have considered knight takes c3 here, because there's another check after. So for example, knight takes c3, there's knight takes e2 check, and this would be very, very good for black, a bishop up. So yeah, knight takes c3 would have been a great move. White's best would have been knight takes, and here, and you know, black's a little bit back in the game. But we have this move instead. Rook f8, the rook drops back, queen a4, rook c5, which counterattacks the knight on d5, bishop f8, and now rook takes d5. Yeah, very, very interesting sequence of events. We have queen takes a3, rook takes, bishop takes, knight f4, queen takes a5. So black is clawing his way back. Does the pawn down here? Rook b1, a6, queen e2, queen a4, queen b2, bishop d6, g3, g5, knight d3, and that's whiz through here. What happens? An exchange of queens, protecting the pawn there, and now taking here. Now this dangerous pawn gives black some hope, and the king comes up. This is a very nice move for a moment. f4 though, and okay, is this enough for white to win? Well, here the king comes in after this move, so that was a little bit of a mistake actually, it seems. But it is difficult to do anything with this pawn here, essentially. It is kind of difficult. So actually the game peacefully peters out here in this situation, because, well, it's actually winning for black, but the thing is, it only peters out in terms of reduced material. Here, this move only draws f5. Black, to win this position, needs to make sure white can't get a stalemate situation. So, instructive moment here, f5 draws. Black should have played king f4, and that's winning. For example, well, the king comes round and the pawn will queen, whatever happens. Unfortunately, this, yeah, it didn't happen. So we have, in fact, king e3, f4 check, king f2, king e4, king g2. Unfortunate move. King e2 would have drawn, to keeping the opposition. For example, like this, is just keeping the opposition and will be a draw. But king g2 was played, and now black is winning again, because the king can be kicked out, essentially. King g1, king e2, yeah, and the pawn is queening. More amusement, though, happens as the king should have been checkmated, and maybe in time pressure or something, this stalemate happened with king c5, a bit casual. King c5 allowing a stalemate. Well, these things happen. A safety tip here is black for just, you know, to play queen b7, and then it avoids the stalemate situation, and you just bring up your king, to checkmate. So yeah, there's some roller coaster ride. This game is a bit of a roller coaster ride. Okay, but this put Rainn Wilson into the final. Yeah, I didn't want to say about the final at the start of the video, but yes, by drawing this with black by stalemate by accident, that was enough. So no tie break. So into the final. Let's have a look at Rainn Wilson now in the final of PogChamps. Okay, let's have a look next. Hi there. In this game we have a look at Rainn Wilson in the final of PogChamps. So March 2021. Let's have a look. His opponent here is Sardoche, who is Andre Honnet, better known as Sardoche, a French streamer and League of Legends player. So he has more than 950,000 followers at the time of this video on Twitch, and he also has over 330,000 subscribers on YouTube. So let's have a look. Rainn Wilson playing white, e4. We see c5, sitting in defense, knight f3, e6, b3, knight c6, bishop b2, d5, e5, queen c7, bishop b5. So this is good reinforcement of the e5 square. Bishop d7, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, c3. So white constructs a center. C takes, we see knight f5. White castles, bishop b4, a3, bishop a5, b4, bishop b6. Now rook e1. Black castles, knight bd2, a5, knight b3. This is a little bit uncomfortable now coming up. After bishop a4, bit of an uncomfortable pin. We see queen d3, queen c4. Very strong play, it seems, so far from black, trying to undermine white's center. We see knight c5. This is a very interesting move. In response, very good. Okay, we see queen takes, knight takes, but now a little bit of controversy. g5, this wasn't necessary. It's got great intention though to undermine the center. Better here is bishop c6. That's more solid. g5 incurs a bit of risk and controversy because g4 stops that and is about to pick up g5 soon after. If knight takes g5 has been played, then yeah, black just undermines with knight takes d4 this center, and black is doing very well there. But with g4, yeah, this is interesting now for white. Knight takes g5. We see knight c6, and now knight c5. This is hitting the bishop, shielding d4.
Bonjour à tous les amis, je sors de ma prépa. Bon, désolé, j'ai...
Pardon me, I was checking out his Twitch channel. Yeah, okay. So anyway, I didn't know these things could spring out. Anyway, swiftly moving along. Okay, so bishop takes c5, b takes, knight b4, rook e2, knight c2 is played, and this is a mistake. Bishop b5 would be an even position. But with knight c2, guess what white plays in this position? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Yeah, a strong tactic here. Rook takes a4. This leaves white, yeah, winning on material in theory. But there's a nasty pin to handle. The king comes and helps with this pin. Yeah, very good play. So bishop c3 now able to unpin with the king's help. Rook takes, king takes. We see rook c4. Knight f3, king g7, knight d2, rook a4. So is this just technique here? After f4, king g6, h4, h5. This is dangerous. If black's allowed hg, there'll be a dangerous pawn. And unfortunately, knight b1 was played. Black could have just taken here with great prospects to win the game, in my view. But check, and white... This is a mistake because white could have actually played this, but didn't. For example, this position, taking that out, it's still safe for white. But this is unsafe, king d3, because it gives potential for a dangerous passed pawn. But rook h2 was played, another mistake. H takes g4 is a very dangerous pass pawn, which are to be treasured towards the endgame, these pass pawns. Black would actually be winning here. For example, bishop d2, g3, king h5. Yeah, the two pieces are kind of overloaded. For example, here, g2, queening. But rook h2 was played, and this is a sigh of relief for white to take out h5. And now we see bishop e1 protecting h4, king d2, king g4, knight c3, f4 is taken, check, and now after knight g3, king takes h4 is played. Yes, it would have been better to take on h4. Yes, terrible blunder here. Knight takes h1 check, and white is in the driving seat firmly now. Let's see the rest of the game, how it panned out a little bit. So yeah, knight and bishop up, and the king comes in, and d5 drops. Will it be a stalemate? Queening. Whoa, getting close to stalemate, but no, it's checkmate. So Rainn Wilson wins the first game of the final. Great stuff. So can Sardoche come back in the second game? Okay, let's briefly look at the second game now. Okay, game 2 of the finals. Sardoche playing Rainn Wilson. We see d4, d6 from Rainn Wilson, bishop f4, g6, c4, bishop g7, knight c3, b6, knight f3, bishop b7, very hyper-modern, double fianchetto. And then we see e6 here, bishop d3, knight e7, queen d2, knight bc6, queen e3, queen d7, a3, black castles, b4, rook df8, b5, knight a5, e5, f5, we see e takes d, c takes, rook d1, knight b3, bishop c2, knight a5, and this is a nuisance, isn't it? But maybe it should be protected. Or should it? The king's here, it's kind of dangerous. It could backfire on the king, maybe, if it is taken, but it is actually taken. Queen e2, and now taking another pawn. This seems a bit greedy. Bishop b3, knight d5, knight takes, bishop takes. In fact, white is doing very well here after check. Bishop takes, and very dangerous. Rook c6 hitting d6. Black is in huge trouble. We see knight c4, rook c1, about to eliminate this knight for a very nasty move like rook takes d6. Rook c8 is played. The only chance it seems here is actually to play rook e8, hitting the queen, because then d6 can be defended like this, and white only has a small edge. But with rook c8 instead, guess what white plays in this position? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Okay, Sardoche plays a very good move. Rook 1 takes c4. This rook's taken. Yeah, this is pretty diabolical situation with this d6. So yeah, rook takes. It's a very dangerous position indeed. If d takes, rook takes d6, and there's going to be horrible discovered checks and stuff. So yeah, black now just played like this, and we have bishop f8, knight g5, we see bishop h6, bishop takes d6, and now king b7. If king a8, then knight e6 is strong. For example, rook c8, queen c2, rook takes, queen takes, queen takes. This situation is just winning for white. Yeah, there's no real defense here. Okay, so king b7 was played, and this drops the queen after rook c7 check. So white's clearly in the driving seat. Check, and this actually wins the rook. Yes, Rainn Wilson is being crushed here. Our intrepid hero, unfortunately. I'm biased towards him. Yeah, it's not ending well. So Rainn Wilson lost this, yeah, maybe a bit greedy on the queen side over there earlier in the game. So can he come back in the final game, which would be 5 minute without increments? Let's have a look now at the final game. Okay, coming up. Okay, moment of truth. Rainn Wilson in the final against Sardoche. So playing with the white pieces, we see e4 from Rainn Wilson, c5, knight f3, e6, b3, knight c6, bishop b2, d5, e takes, bishop e2, knight f6, white castles, bishop e7, h3, black castles, bishop b5, bishop d7, rook e1, rook e8, knight c3, we see a6, bishop takes, d4, b5. This is actually, yeah, very interesting positional play from black, gaining space on the queen side. Knight e2, and now c4. This bishop's also kind of blunted by its own pawn. Knight f4, bishop d6. In contrast, black's bishop on this diagonal is very dangerous. Queen d2, queen c7. Black is winning the positional battle here, it seems. Knight e5, trying to shield f4, but now knight e4 with tempo. Queen e3, and now a nice little nudging move. So black has played very, very well here, and is crushing it actually. Knight takes c6 is played. Here, black didn't need to recapture. Black could have played bishop takes f4, and this would be crushing. For example, bishop d2 hits the rook, and is winning material essentially. After this, for example, taking, yeah, all the rook moving, queen takes, so it's diabolical for white. But in the event queen takes c6 was played, queen f3. If b takes c4 is an alternate move, this is still going to be better for black. But queen f3, we see queen c7, which is a big mistake actually now, justifying white's knight on f4. Yeah, a big mistake. This really unfortunate mistake. Queen c7, but is it going to be punished severely? Knight takes is played, and now black plays bishop h2 check, and here Rainn Wilson in time pressure blunders horrifically. This is like one of the worst blunders you could make in chess. King f1, and guess what black plays? Okay, knight d2 is checkmate. The escape squares are all taken out. That is checkmate. If instead king h1 had been played, queen d6, white would actually be doing well after rook takes e4. This is actually much better for white, because the bishop's kind of trapped. If queen takes d5, there's rook takes e8 check, which exposes an attack against the queen. So white would be mopping up here in one scenario at least. But yeah, king f1 unfortunately went one way instead of the other way. And that was the final end of Rainn Wilson. Yeah. But anyway, congratulations to Sardoche for playing a fantastic game here to win this, to clinch this final. And congratulations to Rainn Wilson for coming this far, showing his chess prowess. So yeah, very, very interesting to watch. PogChamps has attracted some controversy on Twitch as if it's distracting from the major events. I don't believe it does. I think it's a different audience, and I would hope a percentage of this audience consider, chess online. There's various great places to play. Chess.com, League Chess, Chess24, ChessBase, PlayChess.com. There's loads of great places to play. Just pick the one that's most fun for you, and join the chess community. There's Twitch. There's Twitch. Of course, there's chess on Twitch, but there's also a Reddit for chess. Check that out, Reddit Chess. There is also a Reddit Kingscrusher, but that's much smaller. Reddit Chess. So yeah, it's great that this kind of event has been organised, and it's not just professional games. I think the comments on Reddit recently, the professional games trouble is they're battling for micro advantages, and there isn't such big swings as these games. And blunders are part of the fun. I mean, that's why I personally like Blitz Chess and Bullet quite often. just to experience blunders and punishing blunders. There's a lot of fun for that side of the game. It's not all about accuracy. So yeah, there's great potential for these events, and may they continue. So yeah, congratulations also to ChessCon for organising these championships. Great fun to watch. So well done to everyone involved and made this happen. Excellent stuff. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out my courses, Kingscrusher TV / chess openings. I will try and also activate chess openings - special at the first few days of each month. So watch out for special, but it might not exist. If it doesn't, Kingscrusher TV / chess openings, great discount there. Or Kingscrusher TV / chess tactics. Okay. Comments, questions, like, shares, subscribe, all appreciated. Thanks very much.